All right, let's talk projectors. If you've ever gone shopping for one, you know you get hit with this wall of technical specs, right? It can be super confusing. Well, today we're going to demystify one of the biggest numbers you'll see, brightness. We're going to figure out what that word lumens really means for you. Okay, so picture this. You're ready to buy, you see a projector, and the box is screaming 4,000 lumens at you. But what does that even mean? Is that good? Is that bright enough for your living room? See, it's a number, yeah, but on its own, it doesn't really tell you how bright the picture on your wall is actually going to look. And that's the puzzle we're going to solve today. To get to the bottom of this, we've got to wrap our heads around two key ideas: illuminance, which is measured in something called lux, and luminous flux, measured in lumens. Now I know, they sound kind of similar, but trust me, they describe two totally different things. And knowing the difference, that's the secret sauce to understanding projector brightness. Okay, first up, let's talk about what your eyes actually see. That's lux. Lux measures the amount of light that's landing on a surface, like your projector screen. And as you can see in this picture, the farther away you get, the more that light spreads out and the dimmer the surface looks. So just remember, lux is all about the result, the brightness you can actually see on your wall. Lumens, on the other hand, well, that's a different beast. That measures the total amount of light coming out of the projector itself. Think of it like the raw horsepower of the projector's engine. And here's the key. That number doesn't change. A 4,000 lumen projector is always a 4,000 lumen projector, no matter how far it is from the wall. So if you want to boil it down, lumen is the cause and lux is the effect. All right, you ready for a little quiz? Let's see how this plays out in the real world. So imagine you've got a light that's 1 meter away from a screen and it's super bright. We're talking 10,000 lux. Now, what do you think happens if you double that distance? You move the screen 2 meters away. Does the brightness get cut in half, down to 5,000 lux? What do you think? Go on, take a guess. So if you guessed half, you're in good company. That's what most people think. But get this, the reality is way more dramatic. The brightness actually drops to just 1/4 of what it was. Yeah, only 2,500 lux. Pretty surprising, right? It's definitely not a simple one-to-one thing. And this all comes down to a really fundamental law of physics. It's a super simple rule, but it has a massive impact. When you double the distance from a light source, the brightness you see drops to 1/4. But why? Why does it happen like that? Well, the reason has a fancy name, the inverse square law. But the idea is pretty simple. As light travels away from the projector, it spreads out, right? So when you're at twice the distance, that same amount of light, all those lumens, now has to cover 4 times the area. Think of it like spreading butter on a bigger piece of toast. The same amount of butter is just spread thinner. The light didn't get weaker, it just got way more spread out. Okay, so this brings us to the secret formula that connects everything. It's actually super simple. The brightness you see on your screen, the lux, is just the projector's total light output, its lumens, divided by the area of your screen. That's it. This little formula is the key to turning that number on the box into a number that actually means something in your room. Let's actually do the math. It's easy. So, say you've got a pretty beefy 6,000 lumen projector. Okay, step 1 is easy. You got 6,000 lumens. Step 2, figure out your screen area. Let's say your screen is 2 meters tall by 3 meters wide. That's 6 square meters. And for step 3, you just divide. 6,000 lumens divided by 6 square meters gives you 1,000 lux. And boom, just like that, you know exactly how bright your screen is going to be. So let's just do a quick recap of the big takeaways here. Lumens, that's the raw power coming out of the projector. Lux, that's the brightness you actually see on the screen. And you got to remember that as the image gets bigger, the brightness drops off fast. That's that inverse square law at work. But the best part is, you now have this simple formula to figure it all out, which means you can make a way smarter choice when you're shopping. So there you have it. You're now armed with the basic physics of light. The next time you see lumens on a box, it's not just going to be some random number. You'll see the potential, and you'll know exactly how your screen size is going to play into the final picture. You've basically learned the secret language of light. So the only question left is, what other tech specs are you ready to crack open next?